My name is Takai, and I am the Chief Information Officer for the state of California.
Why does the governor feel digital literacy and broadband access is so important for California?
In tomorrow's economy, in a knowledge-based economy, it's going to be absolutely essential that all of our citizens have the kinds of skills required. And that's moving into the jobs that they're going to do, but being concerned about the education of their children. And just their day-to-day interaction with government is going to require that they actually have access, and then also that they have the skills in order to be able to actually use the technologies that are going to be available. And digital literacy is a number of different things. It's clearly about being able to obtain the skills that you need, but it's also around being able to use those and being able to use those in a way that really helps with the day-to-day life as well as with the careers and jobs for Californians.
Can you tell us about the executive order and the ICT Digital Literacy Council that was established by that order?
Well, one of the challenges, I think, is that while we do a good job of broadband access across the state today, and there is access from the majority of our citizens, what we find is that, first of all, there are real ethnic and differences in the adoption rate. There are real differences from a socioeconomic standpoint in terms of who has access and who knows how to use the technologies that are available. So the digital literacy policy is really to say, if we have broadband access, how do we make sure that people know how to use it, that they have the tools to be able to use it, and that we're providing the kinds of services in order to be able to do that. The role of the Leadership Council and the Advisory Committee is really to put a plan together. So the Leadership Council is made up of key members of the governor's cabinet, as well as key members of the education community, because again, we want to guide this from a state perspective. The advisory committee is actually experts from the various areas that are involved in digital literacy so that they can advise us on what are the right things to implement, what are the things that need to be done. And our requirement in what the executive order calls for is that we provide a plan to the governor by the end of the year that outlines, first of all, what is digital literacy, so we can let people know what we mean by it. But it's also a plan to say, how do we get that included in things like our workforce development? How do we get that included in our K through 12 efforts? So again, it's more than just the committees get together. It's also a plan which the governor then will move forward to implement.
What is the ICT Digital Literacy Council's vision for implementing the executive order?
Well, our vision actually is that we will have specific initiatives, and then it's a part of the state doing some implementation. So for instance, we feel particularly in workforce development that it will help align the dollars that the state provides for workforce development with our digital literacy policy. In other cases, it'll mean working with the school districts to implement. In other cases, it'll mean working with public-private partnerships that also want to increase digital literacy. So it's really going to be action steps at the end of the planning process where we're making sure that dollars that we have available today, because I think as everyone knows, we certainly have a budget crisis, but it's actually taking the dollars that we have available today and making sure that they're aligned with the governor's digital literacy plans and the digital literacy policies.
Tell us a little about some of the initiatives coming out of the governor's office that will push California even further into the forefront as a leader in information technology.
Well, the governor is absolutely adamant that technology is an essential part of really the government, and it's also an essential part of the way we serve citizens. I don't know whether you've seen some of the articles, but the governor now has over 1 million friends that he Twitters with, and so he's able to get out, and the importance of that is that he's able to actually get out and interact with citizens, hear what they think about, hear what they care about. So the thing that he wanted was to ensure that California, as a state government, had a world-class IT organization. We've got lots of folks doing just tremendous work inside the state today, But there are ways that we could, through bringing that together and operating more as a single IT organization, we could do more sharing of best practices, we could cut the cost of using technology. So that's been one of his primary objectives. But secondly, we're trying to really make sure that we're driving more of our services to the web. So now you can get your driver's license, you can get your car registration, but we're looking at many other projects. We're going to be expanding our services so that you can do, you as a citizen, a constituent, any business can do more and more services over the web. And the thing that's great about that is it's not only more efficient, it's not only more cost effective, but it's green because people have to then drive less to get to the offices. They can do get all the services that they need in a way that's much more energy efficient.
How can California's excellent broadband infrastructure facilitate the creation of a greener economy?
One of the things, by having broadband access everywhere in the state, one of the things that the state is looking to do is actually do more of teleworking, where state employees can actually work from their home, not necessarily have to drive to the office every day. And to be able to do that, it means we have to have broadband connectivity everywhere in the state. We think that that same approach, which is being used by many other companies in California, can be better served again because we have broadband access across the state. But the last piece of it, which is linking back to the digital literacy, is that we have to now have more knowledge-based workers who actually then can work from remote locations, all of which again cuts down on our carbon footprint, it cuts down on what workers are doing. Inside the state as well, we're finding ways that we can actually use technology in a much greener way, where we can cut down on the energy we use, both in terms of running the computers, in terms of running the computer rooms. So there's a number of different ways where we're really pushing ahead in terms of the impact information technology can have on a greener California.
How important is it for our veterans to be prepared for the new economy?
I just want to make sure that we point out how much the governor has really focused on ensuring that our veterans are really well taken care of when they return home. California has a number of projects underway with the Veterans Administration to actually build veterans hospitals here in California because we know that we have so many veterans returning here. So it is a passion for the governor. And one of the things that, again, we're concerned about is making sure that first of all, when our veterans come back, they're already going to have some digital literacy skills by virtue of just what's happening in the military and in their world. But in addition to that, we want to make sure that we have the kind of workforce development opportunities, that the state is actually providing a structure. So no matter where they live in California, they can have broadband access, they have training programs available to them, and they have high-tech jobs available to them so that, again, they can be a part of that economy, but have part of that economy here in California.
How important is it for our veterans to be prepared for the new economy?
We have a large number of veterans that are returning to the state of California, one of the largest number of veterans of any state in the nation. We want our veterans to stay in California. We want to have a vibrant economic set of development opportunities so that we have those jobs. But we also want to make sure that our schools are prepared, that all of our educational capability is prepared to really ensure that they have the skills. So it's a combination of having the jobs here for them and a combination of being able to train them in the skill sets that they're going to need and to make sure that we're doing that everywhere in the state so that it's not necessarily going to be concentrated in a particular area, but that we have high-tech job opportunities in many different locations, and broadband access is a very large part of making that happen. We have a website that we're very proud of. We get all of our information out there. We're very transparent about everything we do. So the best way is to go out on our website, which is www.cio.ca.gov, and take a look. And what you'll see there is not only what we're doing today, but all the initiatives as they roll out and the plan The digital literacy plan, when it's completed, will be out there. So, I would encourage everyone to get out and take a look.